Hello my crafty friends and welcome to my YouTube channel Corrine Crafts. I hope you are well and thank you so much for everybody who has been supporting my channel, and especially those that have already put in their entries for the August colour challenge. This weekend I promise I will select the winners for July. Anyway, enough of that. Today's project is all about the black and white with a pop of colour. How about that? And I'm going to show you how to make this. It is so simple, but wow, what a statement that is. I am in love with that. And I think often when you think black and white, you just think red, a bit yellow, black, white, yellow. To go with this gorgeous teal colour is absolutely stunning. I am loving it. So quick and simple to make. You're not going to believe how easy it is. I love this. And it's actually foiling card, but I've used it as a backing paper. Absolutely gorgeous, little bit of emboss, gorgeous there, and I'm going to show you how to do all of the stamens on there. So let's have a go and see how it's made. As I explained, the purpose of this video is to craft in monotone, so monotone being black and white, with a single pop of colour. And I've decided my single pop of colour is going to be this teal paper. So everything else on the project is going to be black and white except this paper, and I think that's lovely. And I'm going to perhaps try and have a go at doing a couple of different projects with just one colour visible, so you know, keep it nice and simple and have a go. I just thought it's Sunday, it's a fun thing to do. So I am going to start with a piece of card 5 inches by 5 and 7 inches, sorry, by 5 and 7/8. So it was going to be 6. I think I trimmed it down for some reason, so that's where I'm going to do it. So then I was going to put my card on, and it just looked a little bit simple. So I thought what I would do is I would add a little bit of interest with an embossing folder. So I just found one. Now I often return to these just because it's an old tattered lace one. I don't have many 8x8 and I don't have any A4 ones. I got rid of all my A4 ones 2 years ago and I really regret it now. So it's an like I say, it's an 8x8, so this will fit in perfectly. Now it's a 2D embossing folder, so the combination should be 2 cutting plates, but I don't want it to be too good and embossed. I wanted to take it off a little bit, so I substituted the cutting plate for my plastic shim and my magnetic shim. But what I am going to do is I'm going to put my rubber embossing mat in as well. So I'm going to pop that into there. You could also put a cardboard shim in if you want. This might be too much. If it comes back out, I know to take that out. So I've just changed that round so that my plastic shim was on the top, because obviously the more solid plate on the top that you've got, and that's better than having the magnetic shim in there. Right, that's not gone through uber fast, so we can see what that's done. So hopefully it should have embossed nicely without being too deep. Oh, look at that. Isn't that amazing? Look at that. I love that. Really lovely. Okay, so onto that, let me move that out of the way. Onto that, and well, I'm going to pop that onto my card. So let me get my card base. So this was an 8x8 card base, and I've just done a black layer. So let's just pop that on first. I just think it's really nice because black and monotone with just a pop of colour really looks effective. So let's just pop a little bit of tacky glue on there. On like that. We're going to build up the card base and then we can do the flowers. This really is going to be such a quick card to put together. The longest bit is the thinking about it, isn't it? Is designing. Once you've got your design ready, some of these cards really don't take that long to put together. Got a little bit of glue oozing out. If you ever get a little, especially if you're using something like tacky glue, just get a cloth and wipe it that way. There we go. You know me, I often get my pressure tool and just put that on there. Then we're going to go with our cardstock, our embossed cardstock. And we're just going to go around, and then remembering it is textured, so we just need to allow glue to go into that, just making sure I've got glue in all of the corners. So that's often the bit I miss, and then we can put that like that. I think that's the right way up. That feels the right way up to me. So we can put that on just like that. And again, this pressure tool isn't going to push out the emboss. I'm not strong enough to get rid of the emboss. It's not like going through a die cutting machine, is it? There we go. Oh, I can see a bit of glue seepage, that's fine. Okay, now the next bit I'm going to do is I've got a panel. So this was, I'm going to get my ruler because I put it together 2 days ago, 3 inches wide, that was right. So that's going to go over there. I don't want it central, I just want it off centre. Now this is my cardstock. I hunted everywhere for black and white cardstock and it was something I didn't have much of. I had a look, I found this. This was one that I found out of Crafter's Companion paper pad, I believe, but it was a bit too busy. So this and this is actually a sheet, and this is actually printed in toner ink to do foiling, but I'm not going to foil it. I'm just going to have it as black, and I love it because it's got that, can you see that shimmer to it? So yeah, it was acquired to do, like I say, to do foiling, but I'm just going to use it as a lovely paper. It was the right level of pattern. I didn't want something too busy. I love the colour, the black on it. It's a really lovely black, so it's going to go right to the end, but I've got a little bit of a border down the edges. I should have stuck the black down first, shouldn't I? Because that's going to keep trying to move. Let's just press that down. Let's just give that a minute to grab, because it's quite a shiny paper, so it's just taking a minute to seep in. Let's just give it a little bit of pressure. There we go, that feels a bit more secure. And then that is going to go onto my card base. I could actually do with trimming that there, look, can you see it's overhanging just the slightest bit. I'd rather trim it afterwards and know that it was right to the end, because I just use the black card as like a buffer. Works really well. So we can go on like that. There we go. You can use whatever glue you want. If you find you'd rather use a tape, that'll work too. And I've just gone to the sides of the white because you've got that black border at the top with from there. Now I just want to show you something. I like this one that I've cut, and I feel like I've got the lines going down at a good distance. They're not perfectly symmetrical. This is the one I did the first time, and to me it just went wrong. Can you see I've got the complete strip down there, and then I've got that little bit off to the side, and when I put it on the card it just didn't look right, so I cut it again. I'll use that for something else, but can you see now I've not got it totally symmetrical, but I've got it much more evenly put, so I just prefer that. It just worked better for me, so that's going on there. So the next thing I want to do is I want to create a border. Now I got a black piece of card, I've already cut it on there to show you, and oops, I've just lost my 3D glue, and I found a really old set of borders. You will possibly find, especially if you have things like Crafter's Companion and some of the other brands, you'll often get border dies within a set of dies. I just decided to use these, so I use this one. And what it does is it cuts the two sides at the same time if you want it to. So I use this. Now what I did is I cut this to the right size, to the I cut it to 6 inches, which is the size of the black. Before I cut, I lined it up like that, and I just kept eyeballing it so that this one finished at the same point as the curve as that one, because you could, if I went like that and put the center there, it doesn't finish on a point on that one. Do you see what I'm saying? So just eyeball it so that you've got it in the same, so that's at the bottom of the dip and the bottom of the dip there. So you've got it on the same point. It will look a lot better for it. And then I put foam pads on the back of there. So I've just actually only put foam pads on either edge, not all the way across. And I've not gone for very high foam pads, so you could use your foam tape if you wanted to. I've just gone for foam pads for this, and I'm just going to pop a little bit onto here like that. And the reason I've just put the foam pads like that is so that it straddles that border down the middle, just there like that. And then all you need to do is add a sentiment, and the sentiments you can possibly see them just on the side of here. These are one of the Sizzix ones I bought when I did a Sizzix order a couple of months ago now, when they were all in the sale. So it just says hello friend, because I thought that would be useful for all sorts, and I just put it there. Now I I cut it too long and then stamped it in the middle, and then I positioned it. So I've actually, it is roughly in the centre. That side is slightly smaller, and you'll see why in a minute. It will all become clear. So far we have gone single colour, and this could be, you could do a pop of colour for anything. I think yellow would look lovely on this. I think red would look amazing, black and red. Yeah, I just think there's so many different options that you could do. So we've got to here, and you could potentially make a couple like this, and just leave them at this point, and think, right, I'm going to do something with those once I know who it's for, what their colour is. Are they pink? Are they purple? Or, you know, who are they? So I'm going to put that to one side, and then we're going to bring, so you can see I've already started to cut some out of here. So this is, some people call this sort of paper piecing. I don't call this paper piecing, but it's stamping onto a patterned paper. It just means I don't have to do any colouring. So I've got my Julie Hickey's Handpicked Florals. You'll see this so often. I love this set. Now it comes with dies as well. So I am just going to pop these onto here. I'm just going to work out, I'm going to put one there and one just there. So I've left myself enough room to die cut out around them. Yeah, pick those up. And then I'm just going to use my Memento ink. So this is a fade resistant dye ink. I'm not doing any treatment on this, so it really doesn't matter. You quick dry ink, you could do it with a pigment ink. You could even, if you know, if your waterproof ink's the only one you've got, then use that. You were not doing anything else to it, so obviously die cutting it out, but nothing that it really matters what you're going to be doing. So a little bit on there. I'm going to do a couple. That's a bit faded, isn't it? It's not very. I wonder if I need to re-ink my ink pad. You know, I always buy, whenever I buy ink pads like this, my basic ones, I always buy the re-inkers at the same time, just so that you've got them, so you're not hanging around waiting for them. So we can do that. There we go. And then I just want to do the second one. Bear with me, and I'll just speed up and do that one. Then what I need to do is find the corresponding set of dies, which is here. So these are really easy to find. I find I line up with that one because there is only one that's like that. So I'm going to just cut these out, just line them up, one, and again I look for that one because it dips, and if you turn it over you can see that's that one, so I know it goes there. Otherwise you can be twirling and twirling and twirling and you can't find where it lines up. Now if you find it easier, you can die cut first and stamp later. There isn't a rule, it's what works for you, so you just do it your way. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to put that through there, and then we'll cut this. All right, so I've cut them both out, and you can see it's cut them out absolutely perfectly. You don't, I find it as easy to die cut after I've stamped, but it does depend on the stamp. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to get these. Now what I do with these is I like, when I'm shaping these, it depends how I'm using them. Oh, I've got some glue left on it. There we are. What I like to do is I like to just cut down to there. Now if I was using them flat I wouldn't, but because I'm going to be shaping, it's just worth doing, just cutting them almost down to that center point. There we go, one, and then the other one. I just find I get the shape I'm trying to achieve is easier to achieve like this. But if you were stamping them to colour, or you wanted them fairly flat, then you wouldn't need to do this at all. So it's just, I just love that. Right, okay, so you need a ball tool, and I'm going to turn them over, and I'm going to get my ball tool. I'm going to start with a larger one and just shape down to the centre, and like this. Now if you wanted to, you could just put flat flowers on. It really isn't wrong. Remember, you do it your way. It is entirely up to you. This is how I like to do it, and if I can just give you that little bit of inspiration and a little bit of confidence to have a go, then that is brilliant. There are so many different ways to make flowers. There isn't a right and a wrong way. So I've turned it over, and you can see we're like certainly dome. So then we're just going to go into the center and turn them over like that. We're going to do the same with this. Now this is 180 GSM cardstock, paper cardstock, so I can be fairly tough with it, but I need to just remember it is still paper. Now normally at this point I'd be saying to you, get your heat gun going. We're not going to do our heat gun today. We're going to do it slightly different. We're going to have a go with 3D glue. So all I'm going to do now, that is symmetrical, so we're going to turn it over and do it 180 degrees. So I'm going to get the one, and I'm going to put a bit of 3D glue. I'm going to pop that on there, and then I'm just going to get my ball tool, and I'm just going to press, and I'm going to let it come up. Just hold it. Now it will relax down, and I'll show you what I did with mine earlier to make it go. So once I've done that, okay, so then I could get a gem to go in the middle, and I've got to get one out. So let's get my gem box out. Here we go. This is, should I say, this is a fraction of the gems that I've got in the pearls. Oh, I like that one. Let's go with that one. That one works. That wasn't much of a dig, was it? I didn't have to go down and digging down on there. I mean, look at that. It's just, I'm like a magpie. There we go. Everything's kept close to my desk so I can get to it. Right, so what we're going to do next is we're going to put some stamens on. So I'm going to put myself a nice blob of 3D glue. And this is where your 3D glue wins out over your hot glue. Now, hot glue, I would have a blob that size. I'd have less than a minute to work with it, and then it would be a job finish. I wouldn't be able to do it anymore with it, but not with my 3D glue. So I've got some stamens. These are the ones that are the sort of plaster porcelain-y type feel to the tips. So if you want to colour them, they will take your alcohol pens absolutely beautiful. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take these. Now I could put them across there, but that makes them too big because I'm not going through like you usually do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold them there, and I'm just going to trim there, and then I'm going to hold them roughly a finger's width away from there, and I'm going to trim them to like that. And then all I'm going to do is, it's a little bit fiddly and it does take a few minutes, but I promise you it's worth it. So I'm just going to poke them into the 3D glue. Just poke them in like that, and then I'm going to come. I usually start quite methodically. If you find any are a bit too long, just take a little bit more off, and then we can pop a little bit more on. Just keep working through like that and lay them down. Now don't worry, they look a bit long at the moment, but what we're going to do in a minute is I will be putting the gem on, and that will push them down. So just keep working. Now I always remember I once did a flower for someone, and when I was first learning, and I put, I don't know, 4 stamens in, so that's like 8 heads. And she looked at me and she said, you want at least double the amount of stamens. And it stuck with me. That must have been 6 years ago, and it stuck with me. And she was absolutely right. You need plenty of stamens. It doesn't work if you go stingy with your stamens. You've got to put plenty. You see, that's too long. I'm going to trim that down. I hardly trimmed anything off there. And then what you can do at some point is just sort of push them in. Don't worry if they look a bit of a mess at the minute, because you're going to just keep adding more and more. And then just fill in the gaps. Just fill in the gaps. So I'm just going to keep adding stamens. Just bear with me and I'll be right back. There you go. Now look at all those stamens in there. Again, it doesn't look too good, but when I then pop my gem on the top and just press it down. Look at that. Now this is all still very wet, so what I did with mine was I sort of put a few bits of tools underneath and lifted up the centers. Oops. And this is what I ended up with. So can you see I've gone from that to this, and the 3D glue has now dried. So I'm going to put this one to dry for a minute because it's twisting and doing. But that is going to be, and it's turned quite a lot. Is that one? It wants to be there. That's it. That's much better. So I'm going to put that one to dry, and we're going to use this one. And I've just dropped my other one of those. So all I'm going to do with that is put, let's get rid of some of these bits I've got just here so I can actually see what I'm doing. Oh, I thought I had some cream ones, but now I put that in there. I'm going to grab that one. No, let's go for a bigger one. Let's go for a bigger one and put that in there. So it matches that one, and then you can lift it up. So we nearly have everything ready for our card. Now, even though we are doing black and white, my normal rule of foliage still applies. So I've just got 2 foliage dies, and I've cut out foliage in black, just simple black foliage. And I don't know what of this I'm going to use yet. We're going to have a go there. And then one of these I've cut up into lots of little pieces because I thought I could do with some small pieces. So we're going to put everything together, and I'm going to use my 3D glue again. So I'm going to take this one, and this is going to come up here, and then this one is going to go down there. Isn't that stunning? Absolutely stunning, especially for the fact that I've stamped in the black ink. So I'm going to start with, let's just move those off the way. I'm going to start with one of these. Then initially this is going to be too big. I'm going to have to trim into this. So let's just get one of these and put it, good thing about this drying. There you go, like that. And let's get another one. I don't mind going off the edge of my card. You know I don't mind coming off. So if I take this one round a little bit, and I think it looks so much nicer for being on the black. We can put that there, and I might actually even just get a little one. Let's go that one and pop it down there. But just remember, you've got your sentiment, so we don't want that hidden. I like that. And you see, do I need that there? Because you can't see it because of the black. So I'm tempted, maybe I'm not going to bother. Okay, I was going to trim that down, but actually I will trim a little. I'll just trim the bottom one off. Just trim the bottom one off just to make it a little bit more manageable. There we go. So I'm going to put my 3D glue. Don't be stingy with it. Put a nice blob on. There we go. And I'm going to pop one in. Remember, you can adjust these because you've got so much drying time. And I'm going to drop the other one in. Trying to keep it on there. Then I'm going to get this gorgeous flower. And I'm going to put it on there, making sure my sentiment is totally visible. Isn't that beautiful? Absolutely stunning. So this one definitely needs the smaller foliage. So I'm going to get that. I'm just going to put that. Does it need less foliage? What have I got as smaller bits? That's not enough. I'm going to do the other one. Okay, so I'm going to put a little smaller blob of 3D glue on there. I'm going to get this foliage, and then I'm going to just anchor. I tell you what though, this one will handle the smaller bits, I think. Let's just come down there. There we go. Right, now there's only one thing missing. If you know me, I'm just going to go have a couple of gems. I think this is absolutely stunning. I am so loving this card. So I'm going to put one on there. I'm going to go one down there, and then I'm going to go one on there. There, that's it, 3. You know it's 3. And how about that? So today it's all about black and white with a single pop of colour, or a double pop of a single colour. How about that? I absolutely love that card. Isn't that? It's so pretty, and I think it's so pretty because of its simplicity. I'm just just doing adjustments, Oops, I've just knocked that. Remember, 3D glue, you've got about half an hour till it sort of scabs over and cures. Why is that gem coming off? There we go. And how about that? I mean, can you imagine if that arrives through the post from your friend? How beautiful that'd be. Now, if you were posting it and you thought, oh, that's a little bit high, then perhaps just don't shape your flower quite as much, and then it'll still go through a regular, I know, for the UK postage. Right, I hope you enjoyed that. Nice quick one, hopefully, for today when I edit this down, see how long it takes. And then I will be back next week. Got lots of ideas for next week, so I hope you keep well. I hope you enjoy the weather, and I hope everybody is having a lovely summer. So until next time, my friends, keep crafting. Please don't forget to click on all the links down in the description down below. Yeah, and I thank you for supporting my channel so much. I really do appreciate it. So until next time, everyone, take care, happy crafting, and bye for now.